How can you support your children's growth without sacrificing your own? Let's dive into how you can walk beside your children whilst maintaining your own life. Do you feel guilty for taking time out for yourself as a parent? Here's why prioritizing your happiness benefits your children too. Your children are watching. Are you showing them how to chase their dreams by chasing yours?
Welcome to the I Am Education podcast, where we explore transformative ideas for parents, educators, and anyone passionate about shaping the future of education and humanity. Join us as we dive into the latest insights, practical tools, and inspiring conversations that empower both children and adults to thrive. Let's unlock the potential of education together. I Am Education, for the love of learning.
Welcome to the I Am Education podcast, where we explore topics that support parents, educators, and caregivers in raising healthy, happy, and resilient children. I'm your host, Rebecca Grugan, and today we're talking about a topic that I think will resonate with many parents: how to walk beside your children in their journey while still living a fulfilling life for yourself. You see, as parents, it's natural to give so much of ourselves to our children, prioritizing their needs, dreams, and growth. But sometimes, in this process, we lose sight of our own needs, dreams, and growth. Today, we're exploring what it means to live a balanced life where we support our children without sacrificing ourselves. It's about finding harmony between being a present, supportive parent and living a life that fulfills and inspires you as an individual. So let's start by understanding what it means to walk beside your children rather than live solely for them. You see, parenting is an incredibly important role, but it's just one part of who we are. When we center our entire identity around being a parent, it can be easy to lose touch with other aspects of ourselves, our passions, our goals, our personal well-being. Walking beside your children means being there to guide, support, and nurture them, but it doesn't mean abandoning your own life. It's a balance between giving to them and giving to yourself. By maintaining your own identity, you're actually setting a powerful example for your children. You're teaching them that it's okay to have personal dreams and that life is about balance. Consider a mother named Linda, for example. Linda used to be a passionate artist before she became a parent. But as her children grew up, she stopped painting and focused entirely on their needs, activities, and schedules. And eventually, Linda began to feel unfulfilled, even resentful. And so one day she decided to start painting again, setting aside a few hours each week for herself. She noticed not only a positive shift in her own mood and energy, but also that her children admired her dedication to her craft. You see, Linda was showing them firsthand that it's possible to pursue their own passions, your own passions as a parent, while being present as a parent as well. So think about a passion or an interest that you may have put off or put on hold for parenting. How could reconnecting with that part of yourself positively impact both you and your children? Think about it. What makes you you? You see, living a balanced life where you're also pursuing your own interests, it actually benefits your children in many ways. When children see you living a fulfilled, balanced life, they learn that it's healthy to take care of oneself, that life is about giving and receiving, and that they too should pursue a life that reflects their own dreams and values. You see, children are observant. They notice when you're happy, fulfilled, and engaged in life. When they see you taking time for yourself, they learn that self-care and personal fulfillment are valuable. You are worthy. They also learn that they don't need to be the sole focus of your happiness, which can relieve pressure from them and allow them to explore their own independence. This is a big one. Like, let's say a father named James. He loved playing the guitar. He used to play regularly but stopped after his children were born. When he picked it up again, his children saw how much joy it brought him. And instead of seeing it as a time away from them, they began asking about music, eventually wanting to learn instruments themselves. So by pursuing his own interest, James actually inspired a love of music in his children and demonstrated the importance of staying connected to your personal passions. And so consider how your own pursuits and interests could positively influence your children. Is there something you love that you could start sharing with them that has a massively positive impact on where they take that new information? And so one of the keys to living for yourself while parenting is setting boundaries. Setting aside time for yourself isn't selfish, it's actually essential. Boundaries help create a healthy dynamic where children learn that everyone has needs, including their parents. And by respecting your own boundaries, you're modeling self-respect and teaching your children that it's okay to have limits. Taking time for yourself can be as simple as dedicating an hour each week to a hobby, meeting friends, or having quiet time to recharge. It could mean saying no to certain activities when you're feeling overstretched or setting limits on how much you take on. You see, boundaries aren't about shutting out your children. They're about creating a balanced life where everyone's needs are met. For example, if you're working on a project and you need quiet time, communicate this with your children. I'm working on something right now and I need some time to focus. Once I'm done, I'd love to spend some time together. You see, by explaining your needs clearly and respectfully, you're teaching them about healthy boundaries. And so what are some boundaries that you could set to ensure you have time for yourself? Think of one boundary you could start with, even if it is small, because that small difference makes a massive difference. And so another way you can walk beside your children while living your life for you is to involve them in your life and in your interests, not just the other way around. You see, many parents are deeply involved in their children's activities, sports, school events, hobbies, but how often do we invite them into our own worlds? You see, sharing your passions and your interests with your children can be a great way to bond and allows them to see you as a multifaceted person instead of just mum or dad. And this serves you long term, beyond just the early years. This serves you as you see each other for the human that you are, the individual, and serves the friendship as you get older, as those children get older. It can also be fun for them, like to learn something new and to see you in a different role. It gives them so much insight and understanding about who you are, what you're about, what lights you up, and how they can see that in them. For instance, let's say you love cooking or gardening. Invite your children to cook with you or help in the garden, not making it a chore. You see, it's a wonderful way to spend time together whilst doing something you enjoy. Not only does this create meaningful shared experiences, but it also shows them the joy that you can have in hobbies and interests. And so if you're sitting there going, my child just likes gaming, well, how often are you exposing them to other interests, other hobbies, other things? How often are you actually doing things that you love outside of work? Think about it. You model this. And so think about an interest or an activity you could share with your child, something that they may not be across, that they don't know much about. How could involving them in your passion help you both connect on a whole new and different level? And so self-care. It's often talked about, but it's essential for parents to understand that recharging is not just a luxury, it's actually a necessity. Because to be the best parent you can be, you have to have the energy, you have to be recharged, you have to care for you. When you take the time to recharge, you're better equipped to show up for your children with patience, presence, and energy. Self-care doesn't have to be elaborate. It could mean going for a walk, reading a book, meditating, or even just sitting quietly for a few minutes. Small moments of self-care add up and create a foundation for you to be present in all areas of your life. Consider a mother named Sarah, who carves out 10 minutes each morning to journal and set intentions for her day. Her children see her commitment to this routine, and over time they begin to understand the importance of personal rituals and self-care. Yeah, you are modeling, they're learning from you, and they start to put self-care in for themselves. You don't have to just tell your children what to do all the time. It's actually what you model is what they take on more than what you tell them. And so try building small self-care routines into your day, even a few minutes of mindfulness or stretching or enjoying a cup of coffee mindfully instead of in a rush, and see how it can make a difference. What? What are some small acts of self-care you can add to your day? Think about one thing you could do daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. Living a balanced life also involves teaching your children the value of independence. In Montessori, independence is at the foundation of the reason why we do what we do. When you give them space to grow, explore, and handle age-appropriate responsibilities, you are preparing them for adulthood. Letting them try things on their own isn't about pushing them away. It's about empowering them and encouraging them to pursue their interests independently and let them handle small tasks on their own. By fostering independence, you're also creating a dynamic where they understand that you have your own life and they have theirs, while still being there to support each other. Let's say your child wants to learn to bake. Instead of doing it all for them, show them the basics and let them take the lead. They may make mistakes, but that's part of learning. You're nearby to guide them if needed, but you're also giving them space to grow. And so ask yourself, what's one area where you could encourage your child to be more independent? And consider how this could benefit both them and you in the long run. And so as we wrap up, I want you to remember that walking beside your children means living a life that's rich, balanced, and fulfilling for both of you. Parenting isn't about giving up everything that makes you who you are. Instead, it's about integrating your passions, setting boundaries, and modeling self-care and encouraging independence. When you live a life that's true to yourself, you're not only happier, but you're also setting a powerful example for your children. Walking beside your children means being there to guide them, whilst also nurturing your own growth, happiness, and dreams. Remember, they're watching you. When they see you living fully, they learn to value their own dreams and self-worth. So let's commit to showing them a balanced path, a life where they can pursue their own joy whilst being part of a supportive, loving family. Thank you for joining me on the I Am Education podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, please share it with other parents or caregivers who might need a reminder that it's okay to live for themselves too. Remember, being a parent is an important part of who you are, but it's not all of who you are. And until next time, keep walking beside your children and keep nurturing the parts of yourself that make you, you.